What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today, which of course you know is Tuesday. It's 2:30. So Tuesday at 2:30, every Tuesday we go live for Transparent Tuesday. Everybody, welcome out. My name is Jonathan Jones, the best-selling author of Process 14 Surprisingly Simple Behaviors to Skyrocket Millennials to Success. And specifically, I work with companies, I work with universities, colleges, schools, and also churches to empower their students going in doing professional development. I also provide keynote presentations to really empower those millennials, empower those students to be the most effective citizens that they can be. But today, I just didn't want to take too much time. But today, I wanted to share with you 3 things that I learned from working in the service industry. That's right, 3 things that I learned from working in the service industry. And for those of you all who don't know, that's talking about retail, that's talking about, being a server, a restaurant, somewhere in that area where you provide a service is what we like to call the service industry. So everybody, welcome in. As you're coming in and joining us, I would like to encourage you to share the broadcast so we can continue to expand the message, we can continue to expand the growth, and we can continue just to share and impact other individuals. One day, right, I'm at Finish Line. It's the time I used to work Finish Line. I used to work at the shoe store. And, I didn't really understand what it really meant to put the customer first. Because working at Finish Line, y'all know when you're talking retail, when you're working on commission, at the end of the day, the shoes on the wall, you want them to put them in the bag and take them home. Somebody say make the sale. So at the end of the day, I was like, okay, they're coming in. I need to cash out. They're coming in, it's back to school time. They're going to buy whatever I throw at them. So the goal for me is to make sure that they understand that they're putting money in my pocket every time they make a purchase on a shoe. So for me, working at the shoe store, I was like, yeah, cool. Ripping and running. I'm like, man, let me make this sale. Let me get this accessory. I wasn't putting the customer first. I was prioritizing my need above the customer's need, which is the first cardinal sin. Because when you work in customer service, when you work in the service industry and you work retail, the purpose is, first of all, the customer is always right. They always tell you that. But then you try to meet the need that they have. And sometimes, we can have preconceived notions and we can place judgments on other individuals. Because one day a gentleman walked in Finish Line. I'm tired. And anybody else who knows who's worked retail, when some people walk in the store, you're like, man, they're not about to buy nothing anyway. They're just here window shopping. They're just here checking it out. They just want to see what we got. They're going to touch all the shoes on the wall and they're not going to buy nothing. That was my initial response about this gentleman. He came in, had on a tank top, had on some shorts and had on some slides. I'm like, why are you here, bruh? You're not about to buy nothing. Why are you here? Then he came in, started looking around. He picks up the shoes, looks at it. I'm like, ugh. He said, excuse me. I said, yes, sir. How can I help you? Because, in the service industry, sometimes when you don't take people serious, you wait till they approach you. You don't approach them. And then when they approach you, then you act like you want to be helpful. Oh, yes, sir. How can I help you out? He said, hey, man, do you happen to have this shoe in a size 11? I said, I can check it out for you. He said, you got this color, and this one. He pointed at 3 shoes. And I was like, okay, I'll grab the shoes. In my mind, I'm still thinking, y'all, he's not going to buy nothing. I instantly was judging this brother because I was like, he's not going to buy nothing. He's not even serious. So I went back there, pulled out the shoes. I'm like, man, he just want to try on all different colors just to see how they look on his foot. I bring them out. And then the first point I want to share with y'all, after I brought the shoes out, he says, a size 11? I said, yes, sir. He said, all of them size 11? I said, yes, sir. He said, cool, let me get all of them. The first point I want to share with you today is be humble. Everybody type that in. Type in be humble. Just like Kendrick Lamar say, be humble. Because when I was bringing out the shoes, I was thinking, I was all cocky because I was at a level where I felt that I was entitled to him to buy something. I felt that I was in a position to judge him because I didn't think that he was going to get anything and he was wasting my time. But at the end of the day, when you're in the service industry, that word right there, if we break it down, service, it really means to serve. Like when people go and they get their cars serviced, their cars are being served. So he taught me how to be humble. And Philippians 2 and 3, just briefly summed up, towards the end of the verse, it says you have to value others above yourself. And like I was sharing with y'all, I felt entitled. I didn't even want to serve that individual. I didn't want to even take the time to greet that gentleman. But still, he was coming in, and he was coming in for a service. He was coming in for a shoe. He was coming in for a purchase. We have to value others above ourselves. That's what the word tells us. Value others above ourselves. He humbled me really quickly with that instance. I was like, man, that's mind altering. Because how often do we do that? Same thing. One time I was at Red Lobster. I was like, man, these people, they have to tip me something good. They're definitely going to break me off. And then when I get over there and I check up the tab, I look at it and I was tipped nothing. I was humbled. Because when we began to place titles and we began to place names and put people in categories which we're not the judge over, that's not our territory. That's God's and God above's only. That's his reign. We don't got no jurisdiction there. That's above our pay grade. So we can't place judgments on people. So we have to learn how to be humble. But secondly, I want to share with you the second point that the service industry taught me. When I finally got past that part about always valuing me making the money. When I got past the place of they're here for me, I'm not here to serve them. When I finally got past that place, then I began to realize that I'm still at finish line. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should greet the customer. Maybe I should get to know them first. Maybe I should try to build a relationship. Maybe I should take the time to see what their need is, see what the problem is, meet them at the need. Instead of getting them to meet my need, which was, of course, financial at the time because I'm working retail. I'm trying to make the money. I'm trying, to get the best commission check. I'm trying to sell everything. Not necessarily trying to do like a doctor does. A doctor sees what's wrong, then he asks more questions, and then he provides a prescription based on the information that was given along with his test, based on his assessment. So I had then I was like, okay, families come in, it's back to school. I'm like, they're coming to buy. But at the same time, let me take a moment. Let me put the customer's need above mine. Let me just take a moment. Let me talk to them. Begin to greet the customers. Hi, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. Excellent. Excellent. Glad to hear. How can I help you today? Not saying, what do you need? How can I help you today? Then after beginning to talk with them, then they let me know, okay, I have a son. Okay, tell me about your son. He plays basketball. Excellent. Okay. You're going into basketball season, so you need basketball shoes. They said, yes, we do. I said, okay. Excellent. So here are some of the shoes that we have to offer to meet the need that she was pitching to me, to meet the need. But then secondly, I would bring out the shoes. Then on top of that, I would share with her I have an expertise because I've played basketball. So I know this shoe works really well. I know I like this shoe. This shoe's been selling well. So these are some of your options you might want to just examine for a moment. She said, okay, thank you. This is very good. You're helping me out here. And I said, yes, ma'am. But also I'd like to suggest this. We also have insoles that you can put in the shoe in addition, which will help prevent future pain, which will help limit pain on the joints in the knees, which will help limit lower back pain. Y'all, the second point I want to share with you today, when you go the extra mile, that's when you really build a connection, when you build a relationship. This is in the service industry. This is with speaking. This is with business. This can go wherever you want it to go. When you go the extra mile in school, when you write more on the paper, when you do more research, you have more sources. Going the extra mile is what we should do for others. Because plain and simply, when we go the extra mile, this puts us in a good place. Because the holiest of holies, right? The holiest of holies, Jesus Christ himself. He thrived by going the extra mile. In Matthew 25 and 40, it shares with us the plainest way possible. It shares with us that the Son of God did not come to be served, but to serve. While we're still talking about service. And when you think about Jesus, Jesus was the holiest of holies. Everybody who's just coming in, I encourage you to share the broadcast because I feel this is going to add value to some people today. We're talking about 3 things that the service industry taught me. And this is Transparent Tuesday. But so we're talking about going the extra mile. That's my second point, going the extra mile. But Jesus, the Son of God, the holiest of holies, fully God, fully man. He had 12 disciples. He's leading these 12 disciples. The disciples doubt him in and out. The disciples are still following him. Then it gets to the point where Jesus knows he's about to go on the cross and he's about to die for all of our sins. Past, present, future. And then he tells his disciples, I'm going to wash your feet. And I believe it was Peter. He said, no, master, don't wash my feet. You cannot wash my feet. You're God. You can't wash my feet. No, don't wash my feet. But y'all, just think about that? Because washing feet back in that time was one of the lowest duties that there could possibly be. Washing feet was something that slaves did then. And we're talking about Jesus, Son of God, fully God and fully man. He's here. He was in heaven and came down for us to die for our sins. But then he's like, no, I need to wash your feet. Then Jesus gets on his knees and he puts himself at a lower position, at a lower stance physically. And the other individuals, you can just imagine, are sitting in a chair and they're getting their feet washed. Y'all just imagine that. That's what going the extra mile is about. That's the second point. You have to go the extra mile to serve people. This is something that everybody will not do. Everybody will not go the extra mile at work. Everybody will not go the extra mile when they book an engagement. Everybody will not hang around so they can shake hands with kids, so they can take pictures with kids, and they can hug kids and just get the time to talk with them and get to know them. You have to go the extra mile. If you want to be great, you go the extra mile. If you want to be great, you don't just do the bare minimum, you give more. Because that's what going the extra mile is all about. So first, I want to just recap really quick. We got to be humble. I was humbled. Be humble, or we can call it a reality check. We all need those every once in a while. Because sometimes if we're not careful, we can get the big head. We can get a head of steam. We can get pumped up on ourselves. We can get pumped up on our thoughts. We can get pumped up and start to believe what some people are telling us. But we have to be humble. We have to keep a cool head. We have to stay level-headed. The scripture reference for that was Philippians 2 and 3. Second, we have to go the extra mile. Because Jesus did. Jesus did. Because the scripture reference for that is Matthew 25 and 40. But lastly, I just want to leave with you on this. When you go the extra mile, and when you allow yourself to be humble, then at that point, you're separated for greatness. Y'all, you become separated for greatness because you put yourself in good company. And you're in good company because at the end of the day, those who strive for greatness, they're humble. Those who strive for greatness, they put in the additional work. And when you put in additional work, you immediately eliminate the bare minimum because that's what everybody does. That's easy. Everybody stands up and they speak at engagements. That's cool. Everybody shows up to work on time, leaves on time. But there's a select few who work into the late hours of the night. There's a select few who punch in their job from 9 to 5. They clock out, they go home. And they do either more work for their job to further the company, or they do more work in their own individual company. I want to challenge you today to take time and to reflect on, are you a humble individual? Are you allowing yourself to be humble? Are you challenging yourself to go the extra mile? And are you positioning yourself for greatness? Because when you position yourself for greatness, just Jesus said, what you do for the least of these, you do for me. When you position yourself for greatness, you do things that other people did not do. Jesus did things that other people did not do. Jesus went to the lady at the well, talking with her out there when she was by herself. Jesus would walk to those people who were sinners. He hung with the tax collectors. He talked to Zacchaeus. He gave him the time of day. Y'all, at the end of the day, to be great, you have to do what everybody else is not doing. That's what the service industry taught me. You have to do what everybody else is not doing. There would be some times when I worked at Finish Line, the man would ask for size 11. I would go in the back and I would grab every size 11 in half of the shoes just to make sure that I solidified that he felt special, to make sure I solidified the relationship, to show them that I wasn't there to be average, to show them that I wanted to be great, to show them I wanted to meet the need and even exceed the need, because we can't exceed the need if we never meet the need. Meeting the need, bare minimum, you know, that's like a server getting a 10% tip. Exceeding the need is going above and beyond, bending over backwards, making sure that the individual feels special. What are you doing today to make that individual feel special? Dre South, what's going on, brother? Welcome in. Welcome in. I'm getting ready to wrap up here, but I shared 3 things that I learned working in the service industry. Really quickly, I'm just going to recap it one more time. First and foremost, we have to be humble. Like Kendrick Lamar says, be humble. Be humble, be humble, be humble. Because at the end of the day, when we're not humble, like I said before, you get the big head. You get the big head, you lose yourself. Dre, I'm sure you can attest to it. Y'all, Dre South, check him out. He puts out some great music. The video that he pumped out, I can really appreciate it. At first, on his video, I told him, I was judging the video. I was like, man, what is this? This doesn't look like nothing I've seen before. But then when I watched the video, then I was like, wait a minute. Okay, this is different. Then I watched it a little bit longer and I said, okay, this is kind of dope. Then now I'm telling everybody go check out his music because I saw the video and I went and listened to the rest of the project and I approve it. Boom, put the stamp on it. Secondly, like I said before, you got to go the extra mile. Because when you go the extra mile, then and only then you get noticed. When you go the extra mile, you will get noticed because you stand out. If y'all ever realize the people who do the most crazy off-season workouts, the people who put in the extra effort, they always get noticed. The people who are the last ones in the gym, they always get noticed. They're the last ones in the gym. Hello. Kobe, prime example. He's Mr. 4 a.m. He'll wake up at 4 a.m., get in work, he'll start sweating. Then everybody for practice would come and meet him. He was already 3 hours into the workout. They would leave. Kobe would come back in and continue to put in work. South Beach, they lost. Kobe missed the game-winning shot. South Beach in Miami. If you've ever been to Miami and South Beach is beautiful. They lost the game. Kobe's in the gym shooting the same shot, game speed, 400 more times because he was that upset and he wanted to go the extra mile. Lastly, you will position yourself for success when you do what others aren't doing. Lastly, you're in good company because you separate yourself from the bare minimum. That's what the service industry taught me. I just wanted to share with you all those 3 points. If you'd like to find out more information on me, I'm putting my website at the top. Website is Jonathan Jones Speaks. And once again, I work with businesses. I work with corporations, universities, colleges, schools, and churches. I'll come in and I'll empower your millennials to pursue their passions for entrepreneurship. Here's my book, Amazon bestselling book, Process, 14 Surprisingly Simple Behaviors to Skyrocket Millennials to Success. All right, y'all, I'm dropping the Millennial Minute tomorrow. If you're not on my email list, click the tab, and then we also can get you registered for that. All right, friends, until next time, stay true to the process.